What's going on YouTube? I am the CemetaryGamer, and well, this is the tag response to Lukey Wookie 1234's video, what are your top 5 racing games ever? For me, this was actually a fairly tough decision. I've honestly played so many racers throughout the years that I've enjoyed thoroughly. But if I had to pick my top 5, this is what it would be. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Number 5. Jet Moto for the PlayStation 1. Truly, hands down, one of my favorite racers. I do love Jet Moto 1 through 3, so in this spot, I couldn't narrow it actually to which Jet Moto I love the most, so I'm going to say in general, the Jet Moto series. Number 4 is going to have to be Road Rash for the Sega Mega Drive / Genesis. Another one I loved the entire series. Just the fact that you're riding around on a motorcycle, awesome soundtrack to the game, and just hitting people with your fist and chains, trying to win first place, just really takes me back to when I was a kid. Just playing that with my friends, either that or playing single player races. Still an awesome game to this day, in my opinion. Number 3, I'm going to say the F-Zero series. Now, awesome soundtrack on the Super Nintendo version, and all versions I might add. I mean, just hands down a great futuristic racer. I remember playing this for the first time as a kid on the Super Nintendo, and beforehand I was used to such racers such as Rad Racer and I'm going to say RC Pro on the Nintendo NES, and just playing F-Zero on the Super Nintendo when as a kid I was like, wow, this game's amazing. And then slowly progressing, when I got the Nintendo 64, I'm like, oh, well, they have F-Zero on the Nintendo 64, F-Zero X, which is also awesome. And then when I got the GameCube, I'm like, well, I have F-Zero X, I had F-Zero X, I had the original F-Zero, so I had to get GX. So honestly, hands down, I love the F-Zero series in general. Let's move on to our number 2 spot, and that is Rad Racer for the Nintendo NES. Honestly, the very first racer I have ever played as a kid. Still a personal favorite of mine to this day. I love this game to death. Really, you can never go wrong with some Rad Racer on the NES. And no, I have not tried this with the Power Glove, so I cannot give my opinion whether if it works good or if it doesn't, because like I said, I have not tried it with the Power Glove. Neither do I own a Power Glove either. So let's move on to our number 1 spot, and that is Rock and Roll Racing for the Super Nintendo. Now I remember, as a kid, I played this game actually at a friend's house, and I was just blown away by this game. The customization you can do with your cars, which reminded me of RC Pro-Am in a way, and just a killer soundtrack. For anybody who loves classic rock, this is a must-play game on the Super Nintendo. Now, this game was also ported to the Sega Genesis, but just the soundtrack in the Super Nintendo version was just so awesome. The tracks were awesome, and as you really get further into the game, it gets hard, but just this is the kind of game that honestly kept me going. So those are my top 5 racing game ever. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. Make sure to check out Luke's original video. I will post a link in the description. So until next video, peace.